no sound. There's no recording from Tashin Design from the Sikha. There's Hanocha. It's written down in Lashon HaKodesh. There's no recording, but there is a shtickle video. Somebody took probably a film at that time. There was no floats yet, but you do see a van or an open truck, and on there is the orchestra. They're playing music in the street, and the kids marched in the street. That was Tashin Tez Zayin. Tashin Yud Zayin was the first time they had a parade more like it was in the later years. First time they made a platform outside in the front of some 70, and they put a stender there, and the Rebbe was speaking. The Rebbe spoke to the kids from the stender, and again, at the end, the Rebbe Hecht translated into English, and that was the first. And then the children marched. The floats came a lot later, but it was a short sikha, and for many years it was a short sikha. And it was a parade like this, like when it was Sunday on Tashin Yud Gimel, Tashin Tezayin, Tashin Yud Zayin, Tashin Chof was like a bigger parade, 200 years from the Stalkos of the Baal Shem Tov. Then you had Tashin Chof Gimel, but for whatever reason, and it's not clear what the reason is exactly, but the Rebbe was Medea a few days before Lag Baimer that he's not coming out to the parade. And they thought that maybe they don't have to make a parade, but the Rebbe started pushing them that nevertheless they should make a parade, even though the Rebbe is not coming out. And in the end, the Rebbe was very happy at the outcome. They made a parade, even though the Rebbe didn't come out. Next time after that was Tashin Chavav, and it was even raining during the parade. You see people around the Rebbe holding umbrellas. The Rebbe himself did not hold an umbrella, and the Rebbe never used to let the people should hold an umbrella over him either. The rain looks like it wasn't very strong. The Rebbe was wearing a coat. And there was also a sikha, Tashin Chavav. Tashin Chav Zayin was the famous sikha. It was just a few days before the 6-Day War. And the Rebbe was ma'ided, encouraged the people very much, especially people like Yisroel, that nothing bad, Chas Hashem, was going to happen. And they're going to have a full nitzach and a full victory. A few days after Lag Baimer, Rabbi Weinberg traveled specially to Yisroel to bring a recording of the parade, of the sikha. And they played it a few times on Israeli radio, and it was really ma'ided all the Yidden who lived in Eretz Yisrael. That was Tashin Chav Zayin. After that, Tashin Chav Zayin, the next parade was Tashin Lamed. Tashin Lamed, one or two interesting things just happened. As the Rebbe came out to the parade, one of the politicians who was there says to the Rebbe, it's supposed to rain now. The weather forecast is supposed to rain. So the Rebbe smiled and said, we push off the raid till tomorrow. What?
Yes, if there's a recording of that.
Of the Rebbe saying this? No. But there's a recording of the Sikha, but not of the Rebbe saying the rain is pushed off. No. Say that. After Tashin Lamed, the next time that Lag Baimer was on Sunday was Tashin Lamed Gimel. Unfortunately, there was a whole Indian of machlokes and different things which are going on, which is mamish loy l'ratzin. Was not good things were happening in Crown Heights in that time, and the Rebbe made a farbringen on Shabbos, erev Lag Baimer, and he said because of what's been happening, it's impossible for him to come out to the parade. And the Rebbe said he's not coming out to the parade. Nevertheless, during the farbringen on Shabbos, the Rebbe gave over a sikha, words they should repeat to the children during the parade. They thought, because the next time, like Baimer was Sunday after Tashin Lamed Gimel, is Tashin Mem. So people thought that they're not going to be able to see a parade for so long. But Tashin Lamed Vav, the Rebbe announced that that year is called Shnas HaChinuch, the year of education. And therefore, the Rebbe said that L'Kovet, the Shnas HaChinuch, they should make a parade, even though Lag Baimer was on Tuesday. And that's the only time that the Rebbe came out to a parade, not on Sunday. That parade was the first time the Chiddush, and instead of saying one Sikha, the Rebbe interrupted in the middle and told Rabbi Hecht to translate, and then it was another two Sikhas. So this is the first time. This is three sichas, and from then on, every time the Rebbe spoke to children was three sichas. Sometimes four, but basically three. That's when it happened. Almost every time, I should say. That became that cloud. By the parade, Lakovich Nasa Chinuch, so the Rebbe actually introduced the 12 psukim. So in Farbrengen of Rosh Chodesh Iyar, Tashal Amud Vav, the Rebbe introduced the first 6 psukim of the 12 psukim. 2 are from Torah, 2 are Maimar Chazal, and 2 are from Tanya. On Lag Baimer, the Rebbe introduced another 6 psukim. Again, 2 is from Torah, 2 are from Torah, and 2 are from
Oh, no? Which year?
Mar Chazal, Tashal Amud Vav. And 2 are from Tanya. The Rebbe said because it's Lag Baimer, he's going to introduce 2 psukim from Tanya from Perek Lamed Gimel, L'kavod Lag Baimer. And then it became 12 psukim. These are the famous 12 psukim which children chazah the whole time. Those 2 of the interesting things which happened like Baimer Lamed Vav. Besides that, I'll tell you another interesting moifus which happened. At that time, there used to be a magazine called Ufaratzta, and this story was printed up in that magazine, Ufaratzta. The weather report was supposed to be very strong rain during the parade. And there used to be a policeman, a former policeman with a long black beard, and he was on duty outside 770. And he said, if they pull this one off, I'm becoming a Lubavitcher. I don't know if he actually became a Lubavitcher or not, but they say that 11 o'clock, just before 11, when the Rebbe is supposed to come out to the parade, and the Bachrim are finishing off the last details on the floats, and first few drops of rain come down. Of course, the Bachrim are not in the spall from a little bit of rain, and then the Rebbe came out, and as the Rebbe came out, it was a beautiful sun. And at the end of the parade, one of the kids goes over to the payphone, calls his parents in Borough Park, so he can come pick him up. So the parents are like, oh, worry, where are you? He says, what do you mean? I'm standing here near the parade, and I'm calling you. He says, but you're in the street or you're inside? He says, I'm in the street. Why? He says, it's pouring. He says, no, it's beautiful weather over here. And Mamish was a Nes Min HaShamayim. They say that even the weather reports, the weather planes were amazed that Pasha, the whole New York was raining, and there was a hole in the clouds over Crown Heights, and there it's not raining. And there it wasn't raining. Mamish HaMoifis. And that was Tashal Amud Vav was the parade. After that, the next parade was Tashim Mem. Tashim Mem was a Meridikis Iris, and the Rebbe said, L'kavod Shnasa Shloishim of the Rebbe's Nasias, they should make 30 parades in every country. Countries which are not able to make 30, so they should be in starif with countries which are next to them, and between them all, they'll have the 30 parades. And for 2 weeks before Lag Baimer, the Rebbe was only answering questions which had to do with parade, nothing else. I know someone in Nebuch was not well then. They asked, the Maskirim said the Rebbe is not answering anything besides questions of parade. In England, Lamashal, they had a central parade on Stamford Hill, near the Beis Lubavitch over there. So they asked the Shaila if the pickup places where they pick up children with buses to bring them to Stamford Hill, if they could call that a tahalucha, if they could call that a parade. So the Rebbe's answer was on condition that they say psukim with the kids and they march at least 5 minutes. So that's what they did in all the pickup places, and that's why they had an extra number of parades. For America, the Rebbe said they should make 100 parades, and Eretz Yisrael, the Rebbe said they should make 60 parades. The Poil Mamash, as far as I remember, what I have written down by me, even though lately I have machloikas about that, but I have written down by me that in America they made in the end 139 parades, and in Eretz Yisrael they made 141 parades. This is the first time that the Rebbe let them make parades in Eretz Yisrael. Until then, the Rebbe was meramas, he didn't want to disturb the going to Miran. But from Tashimim, they make parades every year in Eretz Yisrael. But in most of the world, only when it's on Sundays. Again, weiter after Tashim Mem, the next parade was Tashim Mem Gimel. And then they invited Mordechai and David to sing. It was a misunderstanding. Instead of him singing before the Rebbe came out, he sang when the Rebbe was already there. He sang one song, a second song, a third song, and then Rabbi Hecht invited him to sing a fourth song. And the Rebbe turns to Rabbi Hecht and said, I have a busy schedule and I have to go to the oil. If you want to make a concert, I'll go inside and I'll come out when you're finished. So he understood that something was going wrong over here. And quickly, they didn't make another song. Instead, they had the raffle very, very fast. Then the Rebbe spoke, Vogel, 3 sichas, very geschmackas sichas. One of them talking about the Rebbe Avram, the Talmud of the Arizal, why he used to say Nachin, even in Reb Shimon Yochai is upset that he said Nachin on the day of Lag Baimer, Simchasei, Reb Shimon Yochai. Tashim Dalet, there was again on Sunday, and there was another parade, very, very long sichas. One of the sichas was so long that the Rebbe told Rabbi Hecht after the sicha, that since it's anyway going to be printed, he should just translate the end. So he translated just the end of the sicha, and the poil, the sicha, was muga. I guess once the Rebbe said it's going to be printed, so the Rebbe was magia the sicha. The Tashim and Dalet. From the window of the upstairs in 770, so I saw one of the windows on the second floor was open. I see 2 ladies standing there. So I said to myself, that's probably not the Rebbetzin. Then I saw another window next to it. The window was open, but the curtain was closed. And from under the curtain, I could see the bottom of a lady's dress. I figured that must be the Rebbetzin. One way I can't see her. Tashim Mem Zayin, she actually came to the library, and there they made a video connection. She was able to watch the screen, watch the live satellite broadcast of the parade. So Tashim Mem Zayin was the next time. The Lag Baimer was on Sunday, and then was again a parade. They even had a Beis Yaakov of Brooklyn arranged a plane who did skywriting. Beis Yaakov welcomes or salutes the Lubavitcher Rebbe, something like that. And in the middle, Rabbi Grona told the Rebbe that skywriting, so the Rebbe looked up. Very interesting on the video to see the Rebbe looking up, reading the skywriting. There's also
as she says, it's as she said, that's Rabbi Bolkini's Beis Yaakov. Rabbi Bolkini, Beis Yaakov.
Yeah, it didn't say Rabbi Bolkini.
What?
It didn't say Rabbi Bolkini, it just said Beis Yaakov.
Yes.
The idea said that it's Rabbi Bolkini.
Yeah. Beautiful idea, yeah. Anyway, towards the end of the parade, so Rabbi Hecht was thanking everybody, and the Rebbe said, especially the children, the boys and the girls, they have Avram, Yitzchak, Yaakov, one of the most famous videos is going around. And then Rabbi Hecht asked the Rebbe if the Rebbe is zufrieden. So the Rebbe was happy for the parade. The Rebbe said, Zeir zufrieden. He's very happy. And after that, the Rebbe asked Rabbi Hecht if he's out of his marish chayra, of his bad mood. So he says to the Rebbe me always geschlept. The Rebbe schlepped me out on the marish chayra. So the Rebbe says, "Nei, fakert uvkehaven." I raised you up with his hand. The Rebbe showed upwards. Uvkehaven, fakert uvkehaven. And then the Rebbe started clapping. The Rebbe sung to Simcha. The Rebbe started clapping very, very strongly. Another thing is the next parade after that was Tafshin Nun. Tashlam Memches, they wanted to make a parade, maybe Il Nishmas Rebbetzin, I'm not sure why, but they asked the Rebbe to come, and the Rebbe said he only comes out when it's on Sunday. But the Poil, they marched, it was actually raining, and they marched up Kingston, and the Rebbe in the middle drove through the crowd. So they were able to see the Rebbe in his car. And Tafshin Nun was the last time was a parade, and it was an extra special surprise which had never been before that, and that was a special coin was minted l'kavod Lag Baimer, and the Rebbe gave it out, but the Rebbe gave it out through the Madrichim or through Tankisten, I'm not sure. The Rebbe didn't give it out to everybody himself, But the Rebbe gave out this kohen. They asked the Rebbe later what to do with leftover coins, and the Rebbe said they should give it to the shluchim. So by Kinus HaShluchim, they gave out the leftover coins to the shluchim. That's basically it of the Lag Baimer parades. Just interesting, which I've noticed, all the round number years, every decade. So Tashin Chaf, Tashin Lamed, Tashin Mem, Tashin Nun was on Sunday. And all the Gimels were also on Sunday. Tashin Yud Gimel, Chaf Gimel, Lamed Gimel, Mem Gimel, Nun Gimel were all also on Sunday. And the Rebbe only came out Tashin Yud Gimel and Tashin Mem Gimel. Chaf Gimel, the Rebbe didn't come out. Lamed Gimel and Nun Gimel, the Rebbe didn't come out. Now, that's basically a rundown of the parades. Besides that, what?
Even though the Lamed Gimel was on Sunday, did it come out?
The Rebbe didn't come out. Not Chaf Gimel and not Lamed Gimel. Like I mentioned before, we're home in Machloikas, and the Rebbe said, because of what's going on, I'm not able to come out the parade. That was a Lamed Gimel. That was a Lamed Gimel. From time to time, there was a Farbrengen also. Usually, if there was a parade, there was no Farbrengen. There was twice when there was Farbrengen after a parade, and that was Toshin Lamed and Toshin Mem. There was a Farbrengen also that night. After the Rebbe came back from the oil, the Rebbe davened in Chamayr, then there was a Farbrengen. Besides that, there were other years there was Farbrengens. Toshin Yud Aleph, there was a Farbrengen and a Maimer, and Toshin Lamed Hey, there was a Farbrengen between Min Chamayr. Lamed Zayin was a Farbrengen. It was like this year. Like Bren was on Friday, so the Farbrengen was Thursday night. I wasn't there, but a Bacher told me he was in Miran, and he says, "I'm Meir Dikatin." Can you imagine hearing the Rebbe saying Lahavin in Hilulu the Rashbi, and you're listening to it right next to the Oihel of the Rashbi? And they had a hookup right there next to the Rashbi. Lamed Ches was Farbrengen, Matzlag Baimer. Well, Tessa, remember there was Membeis, Tash Membeis, there was a rally in 770, 11 o'clock in the morning. And it's the only time they ever spoke by a rally without the Gartel, because it wasn't next to a tefillah. They just came in for the parade. And then that was the time that they ever said to sing Shibana Mitzamikdash. They called Rabbi Tolshevsky, the Chazan, and he sung Shibana. From then on, the Rebbe started singing Shibana every Farbrengen. Mem Gimel, and that was Sunday, as I said, the parade. Mem Hey, so I remember it was interesting, it was Thursday then, Lag Baimer. We had tanks, I was learning them in 770, and they had tanks going out over the city. I remember coming back, we came back just before 7, the tank which I was on. And I was hoping to take off the stuff off the rented RVs before they give it back. And I looked down Eastern Parkway, 7 o'clock. It's more than an hour before Shkia, at least an hour. And I see the lights from the Rebbe's car. There was lights when he used to follow the police. There was lights under the grill, just a flash, blue and red. And I see the Rebbe's car. So I dropped everything and I ran inside. It's unbelievable. The Rebbe came back so early. For sure, there's something special going to happen. I go inside and I see Rebbe Kant talking to some Bachrim. I went over to hear what they're discussing, because obviously they were trying to figure out what's Yonis and Hector's phone number, because nobody, there was nobody in the hookup room. So I told him the phone number, and he says, "No, go call." So give me a quarter. So I ran downstairs to the phone booth, and I called him up. I said, "Hello, is this Hackner?" He says, "Yeah." I said, "The Rebbe's back." And I hear a choked noise. He was shocked. Before I got back upstairs, he was already in 770. So I ran like a whatever. And the Rebbe Khan, I guess he was thinking of years before, maybe something will happen upstairs. Like Baimer, the Rebbe said the Maimer upstairs in the Zal. So Rebbe told Hackner to bring a microphone to the Zal. The Lepayel, after Mincha, the Rebbe went inside his room, and then Rabbi Groner came out and was idea that in 15 minutes is going to be a Farbrengen. It's interesting to see the Rebbe coming to a Farbrengen with the still the light from the day. From the window, you see the light of the day. It's Shabbos, we're used to it, but weekly Farbrengens usually was at night. And here it's still daytime in the Rebbe's Farbrengen. The first Sikha, the Rebbe spoke about the Inyan of Simcha, the Lag B'Omer has been in Simcha. The second Sikha was a Maimek and Sikha Lahavin Inyan Rashbi. And the Rebbe explained the whole Inyan of Shimon Yochai. The Maim was later Mugat, Tashim Ches, that was Magia the Maimer. It's a very, very Geshmak Maimer, and if you want to understand a little bit about Reb Shimon Yochai, I'll be Matzia to learn it. Anyway, he involved the year later, the Rebbe came back from the oil, it was already at night. So the Rebbe did Mincha and Ma'ariv, and then the Rebbe says the Farbrengen. And that's a famous Farbrengen which they sung, "We Want Mashiach Now" for an hour and a half. And the Rebbe was not even ma'ided. Tashim Ches was after the Rebbe didn't Farbreng anymore on weekdays. But the Rebbe said a Sikha both nights, the night before and the night after Lag B'Omer. Tashinun was a parade, as I said. I don't remember if there's any more Sikhas Lag B'Omer. But Tashinun Aleph, the Rebbe also gave out a coin, which was made Lakavet base ear, Chatchil Rebbe. The Rebbe gave the coin to everybody. That's basically what I remember about Farbrengens.
Mice about having children on no story.
I'll get to that in a moment. I just wanted to mention that Chav Tes, the Rebbe davened Mincha upstairs, and after Mincha, the Rebbe walked from his weekday place to his Shabbos place, and he sat down. He started to say a Maimer. One of the Goldsteins grabbed his tape recorder. So Baruch Hashem, half the Maimer is recorded. The Rebbe spoke very, very fast, and I heard from Shalom Charitonov that in the middle of the Maimer was such pushing. So two people went behind the table on the same side as the Rebbe, pushed to hold the table, that the table shouldn't go onto the Rebbe. And the Rebbe said in the middle, if they won't stop pushing, then he'll delay it for a different time. And the Rebbe said the Maimer very, very fast. I mean, one of the Verta in the Maimer, the Rebbe says, was the Rebbe's capital from that year. There was his Malchit voice, Yudaydun, Varfta Risum with Sa'eglam from Eretz HaKodesh. That's if you look at the Rashi on the Pasuk, Perik Samach Tes, Malchit voice, Yudaydun. Rashi says you throw out the Goyim from Eretz Yisroel. The King Tielana should happen right now.
Amen.
Say there's some interesting stories which happen because like Weimer, there's a few well-known stories. So you do have a Chlal, it says in Hayam Yain that the brachas of the Mittler Rebbe used to go out into the field and take mashka, which he wasn't allowed to do a whole year. And there was a special brachas, especially when they get to children. This was well known, and people would stand and ask for brachas from the Rebbe. So Rebbe Alte Buket was asked by the Hecht family if he could go and stand by the Rebbe's house to make a seder. Because men and women come, it wasn't nice that the Bachrim Vadam Asader should stand there. So they asked people of the Koil to come. So Alte Buket really didn't want to do it. So they told him, listen, I'll give you a very easy job. All you have to do is stand near the door of the car. And as soon as the Rebbe gets into the car, you close the door. That's all you have to do. And he's standing there, and the Rebbe comes down from the stairs, and the people on both sides screaming names. And the Rebbe answered, seemingly, he said, every person, the Rebbe answered a different. So people were standing on the stairs, full of people, and they're screaming names. So three of the answers, you remember, three answers. One answer was Iba Yor, next year. Another answer was Dave should helfen. And another one, the Rebbe said, Ula Yerachim. Three answers he remembers. When the Rebbe got down to the car, so the Rebbe sat down in the car, and one of the Yimdalite who was next to him was trying to close the door, but he realized the Satmar Yimdaman stuck his head into the door from the other side of the door. And if he would have closed the door, he would have hurt his head. So Alten Buket realized that he pulled the door back. This guy didn't realize. He's just looking at the Rebbe, and he says to the Rebbe his name and his wife's name. He asks for a bracha for children. So there's two nuschos in this. Some say one nusach was that the Rebbe picked up his 2 fingers. So he asked, what does it mean? The Rebbe said, should repeat again. And then, so he repeated the names again. The Rebbe says, Zolshan Zayin Tzvei. Other people say a different nusach. I didn't hear this from him. Other people say a different nusach that the Rebbe said the kid's going to need someone to play with. So he didn't understand what the Rebbe meant. So the Rebbe says, Zog Amen. These are 2 nuschos. Maybe it happened to 2 people, I don't know. And years later, by the Toshin Ches, he Alter Book had met them by the Oihel. Their father brought twins, two boys, for the cover of the Bar Mitzvah. He brought them to Oihel and he told them to say the Maimer in the Oihel. The Pasha came to thank the Rebbe for the bracha that they were born. There was a Maisa with Rabbi Yossi Spalter that he, his grandfather, his wife's grandfather, Chaykel Chanan, always used to ask the Rebbe for brachas for them to have children. And like Boim Toshim involved, the Rebbe suddenly, it wasn't even Sunday, the Rebbe suddenly gave out dollars in the morning. And he wasn't thinking of asking the Rebbe then for a bracha, but the Rebbe stopped him, Reb Chaykel Chanan. The Rebbe said, you always ask a bracha for your grandchildren. So immediately he said the names. The Rebbe said it's like Boimer. So immediately he said the names, and the Rebbe gave him an extra $2. And he ran to the house, and he gave him the $2. He said, the Rebbe just gave you a bracha. And then he got mixed up with the dollars. He said, you know what, take this one also. For his $1, he gave also. Over the years, after the next year, they had twins. I think it's a boy and a girl. But after that, the Behemshech, they had a third child also. And these dollars are traveling around Eretz Yisrael, bringing brachas to many, many Yidden who need a bracha. Amen.
Amen. Shkoyach. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Like